Hi, and welcome to Wine Dine Caroline's Happy Hour on Paris Underground Radio. I'm your host, Carolyn Connor. Welcome, Forrest Collins, to Happy Hour. It is nice to have you.
It's great to be here.
So, everybody, Forrest is a cocktail expert and blogger and podcast host in Paris. Forrest, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I am, as you said, a cocktail expert. That means I like to drink cocktails, of course, but it also means that I do a lot of research and a lot of other work around cocktails. So, as you mentioned, I've got a blog. It's called 52 Martinis, and I use that to talk about different Paris cocktail bars and different sort of what I call small batch spirits news from France. So most of what I talk about has a slant, a French slant. I have a podcast, which is also a radio show on World Radio Paris, where I talk about French trends and traditions in French drinking. So I talk about a lot of cocktails there, but also French spirits. I have an iOS app that's a guide to Paris cocktail bars. And we are currently right now working on the Android version because a lot of people have been asking about that. So coming soon.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So basically, if it has to do with cocktails in France, I probably am involved somehow. I think that sums it up. Yeah, it's the end of the day, so I might have forgotten something, but those are the high points.
That's so cool. Well, and that's on top of your real job.
Yeah. Day jobs and night jobs. You know, it's all about balance, right?
It's funny being in France. One of the things about France that is so great is that they love taking time off. That's also one of the things that is infuriating when you're actually trying to get anything done. But it's funny because Americans, we're just such hustlers, whereas French people are allergic to working.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah. But I do feel like French people, like they also, though, I think that is a complete valid like distinction. Like hustler is like such a big word. It's like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. However, as a lot of my American friends, when I go back and visit the States, they're like, it's happy hour. I'll meet you after work for a drink, meet you at 5. Whereas most of my French friends, they're not rolling out of the office until 7. So they're not like skating out of the office as early as a lot of my American friends. However, they probably took like a 3-hour lunch. So yeah, I think that the distinction still stands between the two cultures and their work.
Well, honestly, I really love the fact that we are not expected to work 100% of the time. And it's something that I'm really trying to like unlearn actually, because I don't think it's good for us. The hustle is terrible. I don't want to hustle. I hate that shit.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, I feel like, we were just talking about this before we tuned in and, this kind of idea where I'm like, it's the year of no. And I'm trying to learn to say no to things that like, does it make me happy or does it make me really good money? But if if I'm not doing it for one of those two things, like, I'm not sure why I'm doing it. Does it make me feel less guilty? Not such a good justification for me anymore. So I totally hear you. I don't think we should be working and hustling all the time. We need downtime for sure.
Boundaries.
Yep.
Boundaries are a tough one. Well, on that note, I would love to hear what story you have for me. So if you are new to the podcast, this is a podcast where I have a friend tell me a funny and or stupid story, and then I pair wine with their story.
Okay. I got my story ready for you. It's kind of a 2-parter. So, settle in. It is like, I have been racking my brain. I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty funny person, but not when it comes to like funny on demand, like tell me a story. So I'm like, oh God, what's been like a funny thing? So I'm going to tell you about when I have stayed in New Orleans, and specifically it's mostly about where I'm staying. So the first time I went to New Orleans, I was super excited. It was probably like 30 years ago. And it was like, my young early travel days. I'm like, okay, I'm going to New Orleans. This is pre-internet. So I'm like opening up my father's guide and finding a place to stay. And I found this apartment. It was kind of like a self-service apartment because this was also pre-Airbnb. And I'm like, okay. And I called them and I said, I'd like to book in for these days. And okay, all good. And I arrive. And they had told me the keys will just be sitting on the coffee table. The door will be open. And I thought that was kind of odd, but whatever. So got there. And as they said, keys on the coffee table, door open, all good. So I get myself set up and I go out and I'm like, I'm going to go do all the creepy things in New Orleans, like go shopping for voodoo dolls. And I don't know what else, but I decided to go on one of these vampire tours. And, this is also 30 years ago. So it wasn't Twilight, but it was like the time period of like Anne Rice. And, vampires
Ah.
always like they reinvent themselves every
Vampires
few
are always
decades. So,
sexy. Yeah.
right. So I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this. So I went and it was actually pretty good. Like, I was like, wow. I was like, I guess, do maybe vampires exist? I was kind of freaked out. And because they do a lot of research, right? And they like bring in all this, like these real facts that make you think, So anyway, do my tour, go have some drinks at the end of the tour with the tour group, go back to my little like self-service flat thing that I'm renting. And I go to sleep and I have these really, really weird dreams. Like I'm all freaked out. I wake up in the morning. I'm like, I'm so like freaked out and scared. I'm like, this is bizarre. I'm feeling really uncomfortable. And I'm thinking it's all the vampire shit. And I'm like, I can't stay here anymore. And so I call the people from a landline because again, this is like 1,000 years ago. I'm like, hi, I think I need to leave early. Is that okay? Will it be a problem? I just need to, check out with you. And they're like, yes, just leave the money in the silverware drawer and the keys on the table and just, close the door behind you. And I was like, wow, that is weirdly like trusting. And also I suddenly began to wonder if I had rented an apartment from vampires, right? So
that's probably what it was.
All of that was like not particularly funny, but just like an odd first time I stayed in New Orleans.
Well, I have a question.
Go on.
Sorry. I have a question. What are the vampire facts?
Oh God, it's been so long now, but it's like these people that came over on like, people would come over on the boats to, I should have looked this up again, to Louisiana, but there was something about like coffins that would come over, and the coffins were the things that the vampires stayed in. And then there was like facts that they looked up historical and criminal records about people who had lived in that area. And, they found that these murders that had like drained all the blood out of people. I mean, it's probably just your garden variety, like freaky, like a psycho murderer, right? But the facts of the crime kind of like matched up with sort of vampire stuff, right? So these kind of facts that made it feel like, maybe there really were vampires. But
oh, spooky.
I mean, because I don't really believe in that kind of stuff, but it was just those kind of things, like crimes that happened that seemed like they could be attributed to vampires if you wanted to lean that way.
I love shit like that. I love anything about like monsters, vampires. Love me murder too, true crime, into that. Yeah. It's
yeah,
weird.
I'm totally like that kind of stuff too. I mean, I don't believe it, but like I'm big into like horror movies, ghost stories. Like I love it, but I don't believe it. But it did freak me out. I was just like, I felt really, really fucking weird in that place. And sorry, I don't know if you're on a PG radio station.
No,
you have to bleep out the swear words.
Definitely fucking not.
Okay. So that was that. And then like over the years, I've been back to go to like Tales of the Cocktail, which is like a whole different kind of like vampire scene. And I stayed at the Hotel Montleon, which is like this cool historical place. And the bar like turns on this, it revolves. It's like a carousel bar and it revolves. Now, the last time I went back, I haven't been back for probably like, I don't know, 4 years or so. So the last time I go back, I'm like, okay, I'm going to rent an Airbnb. This is going to be great. And Thibaut and I go, my husband and I go. And I noticed when I rented the Airbnb, it said something like some adult artwork. So I was like, okay, cool. What are they probably got like a Robert Mapplethorpe or some like naked like butt in some photograph. So I'm sure I can deal with this. I'm an adult. So I roll up and I'm checking into my Airbnb, and it's just a pretty cool looking, kind of like shotgun style house. So this long, like thin shaped house or whatever, long, like everything in one line. And I get in and I do my check-in, say bye to the guy, and I look around, and every single like space on the wall is covered with a photograph or piece of artwork. Every shelf is covered with like a little like bric-a-brac knick-knack sculpture thing, whatever. Like the whole house is crammed everywhere with artwork. I'm like, okay. And then like, as I like settle in and look closer, like every single piece of artwork is a dick, like everything. Oh, it's like penises, a go-go everywhere. Everything is like naked men and penises. And I'm not I'm not talking about like just a handful, right? Like they are everywhere. And so I'm like, everywhere. Yeah. It's like dick pic hell, or like, I don't know, dick pic heaven, or take your dick pic, whichever, if you like to be surrounded by like, uninvited penises or not. Dick pics. Yeah. It's just, there's pics. It's everywhere.
It's a dick pic house.
So I'm like, okay, it's a dick pic house. So I'm like, okay, all right, this is fine. I can deal with this. And so I'm staying there with I'm staying there with Tebow. And then one of my besties from Seattle is staying with us. So, we're staying in this house with all these penises everywhere. We're having our aperitifs with penises. We're having our breakfast with penises. We're just having penises everywhere. And so we're sitting there having a little chit chat. And Wendy, she says, yeah, it's just so weird. Like every time you sit down to pee, like you look and right in front of you, eye level, there's dicks just coming at your face. It's just penises everywhere. So I'm like,
It's
yep.
the dream.
Yeah, exactly. Tebow says, well, if you think it's weird sitting down to pee, try standing up to pee. So of course we all run into the bathroom. We look, we're like, yep. Yep. And then there it is. There's a man dressed as a nun with his pants down and another man kneeling, servicing his penis. And so it was the House of Penises. And, it was funny. We got a good laugh out of it. Like I said, I'm not like prude. So it was just kind of like, it was one more story. But before I had been staying there with Tebow and Wendy, Tebow and I decided, yeah, let's get my parents to come visit us for a few days because instead of going to see them, we'll have them come see us in New Orleans. So this is the house that I welcomed my visiting parents into as well. Come on into Penisville, Mom and Dad.
Oh my God.
So yeah, my mom kind of looked around and said, this is very interesting art. Now my parents, they've never rented an Airbnb, right? So
they never will after this.
Hotels or whatever. So I'm pretty sure that's the last time they will ever be in an Airbnb because I'm sure they don't trust me or Airbnbs to handle any of their accommodations. So that's my story. Penises everywhere, either kind of creepy vampires with lots of penises with a little soupçon of creepy vampire.
And now a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to Wine Dine Caroline's Happy Hour.
That's it. What do you pair with that?
I don't know. I've never been to New Orleans.
Oh, God, you got to go. You'll love it.
I know. I really do. Let's see. I mean, vampire, we could pick something that kind of tastes like blood or smells like blood. And it's been so long since I've been in the proximity of a penis, I wouldn't really know what to pair with dick.
Well, I was thinking, maybe something sort of animal, kind of barnyard smell. I don't know.
There was a natural wine fair in Lyon this weekend that is a big deal every year. And I don't go because it's so self-congratulatory and probably 70% of the wines are undrinkable because they just probably taste like dick, like sweaty dick. And so I just, I don't know. I feel like we should pair it with liquor. Now, let me think. I mean, something. Okay, I'm going to pick something sexy because I do, contrary to what it may sound, I do actually quite like dick. It's just, not on my agenda these days. It's so sad. Oh, God. If you have a dick, please keep it away from me. Don't send me dick pics. I don't want them. We never do. But yeah. Let's see. I'm going to pair it with something sexy that smells like blood. So to me, I feel like I always do this, but that blood smell is something that is like an iron smell, right? It's like a metallic thing. And so a lot of red wines actually do have that. Some of them are actually, last night I was doing a tasting and someone said their Chianti had that, which is interesting. Beaujolais often has that. I've had it as well on Cabernet Franc. I had it the other day, like a really strong, kind of metallic tang. And so why don't we pair this with, and I love the Loire Valley cabs. So or Cabernet Francs. So why don't we pair it with a little Chinon? That's a sexy wine.
That's a lovely sexy wine. I'm a big fan of Chinon wines, so I like it. Yeah.
And I feel like that would be good.
Next time I'm around vampires or penises, I know what to drink.
Exactly. And I mean, it's just kind of a good everyday drinking wine. It's really good. So Cabernet Franc is a lot like Cabernet Sauvignon, but lighter. So it smells a lot like it, but it's lighter. And so it's a really good wine probably for being when you are somewhere hot like New Orleans. Can go with lots of different food. And it's really, really delicious. I really like those wines. They often have a kind of, green pepper thing, which is pretty cool, dark fruit vibes. And then that metallic graphite thing can come through on those. I don't think they taste like dick, unfortunately, for no one, but they are sexy. So we can put that in there. That is weird. It's funny because you talk about that. My friend Shelton, who was on the podcast before you, his bedroom looks like that. It's just like penis wallpaper. He has like Tom of Finland wallpaper. It's so
Yeah.
funny. It's amazing. Yeah, he's incredible. It's pretty interesting. But I don't have any erotic artwork, but maybe I should. I don't know. It's not really my style.
Yeah, me either.
Not really my style. I did see something. I walked past an antique store the other day and they had these candlesticks that were like feet, like bird feet, like ostrich feet, like these big gold ostrich feet. I was like, I just want one of those.
Oh, yeah. I can get on board
super
with that.
fucking weird. But I don't have space for that.
We bought a house in the country, as you know, right before COVID. And so we're always cleaning things out. And so I was cleaning out this side bedroom and it was one of the kids' bedrooms, I'm sure. And there was these very cheaply plastic framed, like very soft porn, soft focus pictures of women with their naked breasts, which kind of made me laugh. And so obviously the kid had like been decorating his bedroom with these naughty pictures. And I almost hung them up thinking those are really kind of kitschy funny. But
you should have.
I didn't.
That's funny. Do you still have them?
I still got them around just in case.
Yeah, don't throw them away. Those should go in the bathroom for parties.
Yes.
That's really funny. Yeah, it is interesting, like what porn, how porn has developed. That would be an interesting tour. History of porn. Porn used to be like a glimpse of a lady's ankle,
Right?
And
God,
now
crazy.
we can see straight into her asshole. And that's how it's done. So
yeah,
no wonder we have fucked up expectations in this society for sex.
No kidding, right?
Jesus. Those people, porn stars, they're Olympians. They really are.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny though. Yeah. I love that. I think you should hang them up. I think that'd be great. You got to find the right spot for them, or just one, like pick the prettiest one and just like put it somewhere kind of like unexpected,
Well, I took pictures to throw them up onto my Instagram stories just because I thought they were so funny, but then Instagram banned them because they were naked boobies.
Oh, boobies are very offensive.
Yes, aren't they? Oh, God, don't show anybody your boobies.
They were male boobies. Yeah. No, if they were male boobies, they would be
absolutely
fine. But they're not.
Wow.
They're not. I love the idea of a vampire tour in New Orleans, though. It sounds really fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. And I do like those kind of tours. I like the little kind of creepy, like I love to be scared. I'm waiting for somebody to like.
Are there good ghost tours?
I don't think I've ever done one.
In Paris?
There are some, but I don't think I've ever done one. Are there any down in Lyon?
I don't know, but I think next time I go to Paris, we should do one. I've never been to the catacombs, and I really want to go to the catacombs.
The catacombs are interesting, but I used to date a catophile who actually did a lot of urban spelunking. So I have spent a lot of time down in the catacombs, beyond the catacombs, the unofficial, not public catacombs after hours.
Scary.
Yeah. Well,
that seems so dangerous, though.
It's actually not safe. And if anybody is listening, I do not recommend that anybody do this.
It is not safe.
I did this like 20 years ago before I had any common sense. But yeah, I mean, this guy was like an urban spelunker and was down there all the time and had been going down in the catacombs for about 20 years by the time I met him. So
he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
And they're everywhere, aren't they? I mean, they're easy to break into, aren't they?
Yeah. There's tons of different little like openings. A lot of them are kind of around the 14th, I think, around Montparnasse, and just different ways that you get in. And I won't share more than that, but it is really like crazy and creepy to go down there. I mean, there's old like bunkers from the World War. There's places where like art students have gone down there and painted like reproductions of great pieces of art. There's all kinds of stuff down there. It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, I do. There must be a reason that I haven't ever been down there, because I think it is crazy. But like the tours, the official tours, I'm sure are safe and like well.
Oh God, the official tours are totally safe. You wouldn't even be scared. I mean, there's lots of skulls and bones, but no, the official tour, it's kind of a fun and like maybe mildly creepy. But no, you should totally go down there. I think the lines are really long though. I've heard it takes a really long, like the wait is long, is what I've heard.
Yeah, you got to book that shit. No, I'm actually really big. Sorry, you don't have. Can you book? Do you know?
Not that I know of. I don't know. Maybe I don't even know if they have special tours or if you just walk through with the normal people. I don't know. But you can book a tour at Père Lachaise. That's kind of a good like creepy thing, but not so creepy, but a super interesting tour to book as well.
That is the big cemetery. I have been there, and it's beautiful. I love doing tours. It's funny. I think when I was younger, I wanted to figure everything out myself. I didn't want to pay for anything, blah, blah, blah. Now when I go, especially now that I work in tourism, right? I'm like, I want to see what people are doing. I want to give them my money to learn about their expertise, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think, yeah. And I think that
Yeah.
people kind of go, oh my God, that's a lot for this person to show me around when I can just read it. I totally disagree with that. I do the same when I travel. And, I used to travel a lot before all, COVID shut everything down. It's totally worth it to give somebody a chunk of money to have them like share their expertise with you. Exactly what you just said to, kind of unlock their city for you, give you the goods, give you the history, all this stuff. Or, I mean, I guess you could spend like, months or years trying to research this on your own, or you could just pay somebody
Yeah.
good money to a worthwhile tour for you.
Support tourism businesses, people. Please, we need your money. We really do. I'm really like when we mentioned this when we were chatting before we started recording. I'm really kind of actually trying to repivot back into tourism after this, crazy pandemic killed my wine tasting business. And I really have a feeling that the spring and the summer is going to be crazy. I'm excited though. It's good.
Yeah, I think it is too. I think it'll be this like kind of people will be getting whiplash. I think tourists will be coming in. I think that everybody will be readjusting to having, busy schedules because everybody's kind of dying to get back to, well, not everybody, but everybody I know, they're really excited to get back to travel, to get back to seeing places and to get back to having a little bit of fun.
Yeah. It's going to be good. I have been traveling a little bit. It's been good.
Do you think it means that we're totally going to like go completely away from all the online stuff? Because I really kind of like a hybrid life model. Like I do like some of this online things that I wouldn't be able to do necessarily in real life or that might be cost prohibitive in real life that I've been able to do now that people have kind of opened up some of their offerings online. So, I mean,
Yeah.
are
What
we
do you
going to see
mean?
that
Like
all
what kind of stuff?
disappear? Or are we going to, I don't know, what do you think?
I mean, I think it depends on what it is. So what I've seen is virtual wine tastings are still very much a thing. They are not as much of a thing as they were at the beginning. They like picked up speed. I was one of the first people to do it. And then they were really crazy last winter. But those, I don't see those going away, even as people do have more options. I think it's like just different. But I don't know. I mean, if Mark Zuckerberg has his way, we'll all just be wearing headsets all the time. So let's hope that
Right?
doesn't fucking happen.
I was actually just rewatching The Matrix last night. I don't know if you're a fan or not. I'm not
Oh,
particularly,
yeah.
but I'm going to go see the new one. And so when I rewatched it, I'm like, wow, like this is really like, I haven't seen it since it came out. This is really interesting. Also kind of a pretty like racially and gender diverse cast. I was surprised by it for a movie that's 20 years old.
It's aged well, hasn't
But
it?
I was like, when you see, I hope I'm not giving any spoilers, but when you see everybody's like literally connected to the Matrix and they're just like living these virtual lives, I'm like, well, that's pretty much what we are today, right? Like we're literally just like, like wired in and just like kind of like living whatever the digital gods tell us that we should be like seeing and doing and living. So I feel very much like we're in the Matrix now. I'm curious to see the new movie coming out next month.
I can't wait to see it. I think that first movie, the first Matrix, was really, really good. I don't know. I mean, I think I have seen the other two, but I don't care. I probably will binge all of them before. When does it come out?
It comes out mid-December, the 22nd, I think. And I did just binge all three this weekend in preparation. So
nice.
So yeah, but I think the first one is definitely the best. The second two, it's just like a lot of action stuff for me. And I like more thinking than action. I mean, in terms of movies. But yeah, I think it's probably worth binging in before the last one or whatever the next one comes out. I definitely will.
No, it's funny. I saw a glitch in the Matrix the other day. So and this doesn't happen to me very often. I think some people, they see it a lot, but like, I literally was like I was walking my dog, I was walking Buffy, and we passed this family and then I kept on walking her and we passed them again, like a block away. And it just was really confusing. Like they must have, I just have no idea, but I know it was the same.
Did they run around the block? Are they
same dude?
Trailing?
It was super weird. It was super, super weird. It like really, really kind of freaked me. I mean, obviously they moved their bodies to be in a different place, but it was like a weird, I don't know how they got there, how they got around us. It was just, it was super weird.
They're vampires.
They're vampires. That's definitely the answer. Vampires with dicks.
That's the answer for sure.
That was pretty funny though. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely interesting. I do think that we have reached peak. I think Facebook is going to go. Like it has to. Everybody fucking hates him. He's the worst.
Yeah, it's going to go. I mean, well, I don't know about, I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook anymore. There's a few things that it's really like useful for me. Like, I don't know, like certain event organization, but I just keep thinking I'm just going to like create my own little website where I can put some events and just not be beholden to any of these social, it just drives me
Yeah.
bananas. I mean, yeah. And of course it's going to go because first of all, I think it's just old people that are on it now. And by old people, I mean people who aren't 15, but eventually it's just going to go
Yeah.
the way of like Yahoo or whatever modem dial-ups, right? I mean, it can't stick around forever.
No, it can't. I mean, God, let's hope not.
And it's so invasive. It's like a vampire, right? Like I feel like now the more we're talking about it, I'm like,
is the vampire.
it is a vampire. Yes.
Yeah. No, and that like just these smug assholes. God. And I grew up there, so I like literally grew up like 10 minutes away from Facebook. And it is, yeah, there's a special place in my heart for hating on all of that stuff. But I do use Facebook. I mean, I kind of have to. I feel like I have to. It does help as an expat. There's a lot of resources there that are helpful, especially in Lyon. We have a really like thriving expat Facebook group. But I think it really should suck a dick, generally.
Yeah. Well, I can like see some really good reoccurring themes in our conversation here. Lots of dicks, lots of vampires, lots of things that suck. So suck or get sucked. So there you go. I think that we've really kind of covered all of that sucky stuff.
Covered it. This covers me and my dick quota for the next 5 years. And the last 5 years hasn't been that long, Jesus. But still. And now a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to Wine Dine Caroline's Happy Hour. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and I really hope that we can share a glass of Chinon one day soon.
Oh God, me
on
too.
A Paris ghost tour.
Yeah, let's get up here. Let's go on a Paris ghost tour and ghost tour and have a little Chinon. I would love that.
That would be great. We'll do it in 2022.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much, Forrest.
Thanks for having me.
We will leave the show notes for all the wonderful stuff you do in the description. And for me, you can head to my link in the description to take my wine mood quiz. Which wine pairs with your mood? And then you can also have a fun mood pairing. So thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Wine Dine Caroline's Happy Hour. Wine Dine Caroline's Happy Hour is produced by Paris Underground Radio. For more information about Happy Hour and shows like it, please go to parisundergroundradio.com. To hang out with me more, head to my Facebook group. It is called Good Wine, Good People, and you can find the link to that in the show notes. Cheers!